A quick insight from FreshNews.ai. Today's headline, AI Visibility Index latest weekly update. AI systems continued to favor established leaders across most categories this week, while a handful of brands saw sharp visibility swings and new names surfaced in the long tail of results. These shifts highlight where buyer-facing AI answers are consolidating around a few vendors versus spreading across a broader field. Last updated 2026-77, data period 2026-76 to 2026-12. This report reflects the latest AI visibility data based on responses generated across multiple AI systems, including GPT and Gemini. It shows which brands are currently selected, cited, and recommended in AI-generated answers. Executive summary. Here are 6 takeaways. First, AI visibility remains concentrated at the top of most verticals, with brands like Salesforce, AVI SPL, Douglas Elliman Property Management, Ping Identity, Fragaman Del Rey Bernson Lowy LLP, Hunter Douglas, Atlas Van Lines, Morgan, and ADT holding clear lead positions by mention volume. Second, several software categories show tightly clustered leaders, such as customer success platforms where Totango, PlanHat, and ChurnZero are within one mention of each other, and identity security platforms where Ping Identity, SailPoint, and CyberArk dominate. Third, this week saw notable upward movement from brands like ServiceNow and Drift in AI agent platforms, Custify and customer success platforms, Rose Associates in co-op condo property management, and multiple movers across family law and immigration law. Fourth, in consumer and physical service categories, Atlas Van Lines extended its lead among moving services, while Hunter Douglas, Somfy, and IKEA stayed tightly grouped in motorized shade systems, with Crestron and Lutron showing significant volatility. Fifth, healthcare digital signage and smart home installation show both consolidation and churn. Vizix, 4Winds Interactive, and AppSpace are now tied for the lead in digital signage healthcare, while Control4, Vivint Smart Home, Crestron, and Lutron all shifted in smart home installation visibility. Sixth, long tail and emerging brands, including AISRA, Forethought, Adept, Global Interactive Solutions, Boundless Immigration, Newland Chase, Telemetry TV, and Gozi Health, continue to appear alongside global leaders, indicating that AI systems surface both large and niche providers. Key insights. Here are 4 takeaways. First, AI visibility is highly concentrated at the top of most verticals. Brands like Salesforce, AVI SPL, Douglas Elliman, Ping Identity, Fragaman, Hunter Douglas, Atlas Van Lines, Morgan, and ADT all hold clear lead positions by mention volume. Second, some software categories show tight leader clusters with minimal separation, notably customer success platforms where Totango, PlanHat, and ChurnZero are within one mention of each other, and identity security platforms where Ping Identity, SailPoint, and CyberArk dominate. Third, citation patterns highlight a mix of neutral reference hubs and vendor-owned sources. en.wikipedia.org, chambers.com, and avnetwork.com are frequent cross-vertical authorities, while domains like totango.com, churnzero.com, savin.com, and servicenow.com anchor brand-specific grounding. Fourth, long-tail and emerging brands are consistently present across verticals, from smaller agent platforms and healthcare signage providers to boutique law firms and regional integrators, indicating that AI systems are not only surfacing global leaders, but also regional and niche options in buyer-facing answers. Cross-vertical summary table. Vertical, top leader, mentions, notable change. AI agent platforms, Salesforce, 8. ServiceNow added 3 mentions to reach 7, a 75% increase that pulls it level with Intercom. AV integrators, AVI SPL, 18. Solutions increased by 3 mentions to reach 4, a 300% gain in AV integration visibility. Co-op condo property management, Douglas Elliman Property Management, 14. Rose Associates increased by 4 mentions to 6, a 200% rise in co-op and condo management visibility. Criminal defense law, Williams & Connolly LLP, 14. Williams & Connolly LLP added 1 mention to reach 14, consolidating its lead in criminal defense rankings. Customer success platforms, Totango, 16. Custify jumped by 4 mentions to 7, a 133.3% increase, strengthening its position among customer success platforms. Digital signage, healthcare, Vizix, 6. Vizix, 4Winds Interactive, and AppSpace all gained mentions to reach 6, with multiple new entrants like 22 Miles and Quamac appearing in results. Family law, Cordell & Cordell, 7. Stange Law Firm PC, Tucker PLLP, and McKinley Irvin all saw gains, with Stange Law Firm PC appearing after a prior absence, and McKinley Irvin rising 66.7 to 5 mentions. Identity security platforms, Ping Identity, 14. Ping Identity lost 2 mentions, down 12.5%, and CyberArk dropped 3 mentions, down 20%, while IBM Security Verify gained 3 mentions to reach 7. Immigration law, Fragaman Del Rey Bernson Lowy LLP, 15. Fragaman Del Rey Bernson Lowy LLP slipped by 1 mention, while firms like Clasco Immigration Law Partners LLP, Jackson Lewis PC, Foster LLP, Ogletree Deacons Nash Smoke and Stewart PC, and Murthy Law Firm all gained 2 to 3 mentions.
Motorized Shade Systems, Hunter Douglas, 12. Crestron gained 4 mentions to reach 7, while Lutron lost 4 mentions to 8, and Rolly's Acmeda dropped 2 mentions to 3. Moving Services, Atlas Van Lines, 14. Atlas Van Lines gained 2 mentions to reach 14, and Beacons Van Lines increased by 3 mentions to 5, a 150% rise. Personal Injury Law, Morgan, 13. Beasley Ellen appeared with 4 mentions after no previous ranking, while Higgins Berman, Sobel Shapiro, and Jacoby and Myers each increased by 2 mentions to reach 3. Smart Home Installation, ADT, 8. Vivint Smart Home and Crestron Electronics each added 3 mentions, while Control 4, Crestron, and Lutron all saw week-over-week declines. AI Agent Platforms. Salesforce leads AI Agent Platforms with 8 mentions, followed closely by Intercom and ServiceNow at 7 mentions each, indicating a tightly clustered top tier of vendors and AI-generated responses. Rank, brand, mentions. 1. Salesforce, 2. Intercom, 7. 3. ServiceNow, 7. Notable movers. Here are 2 takeaways. First, Drift gained 2 mentions to reach 4, a 100% week-over-week increase in AI Agent Platform visibility. Second, ServiceNow added 3 mentions to reach 7, a 75% increase that pulls it level with Intercom. AV Integrators. AVI-SPL and Diversified are tied at the top of AV Integrators with 18 mentions each, while CCS Presentation Systems holds 3rd place with 11 mentions, underscoring strong concentration around large national integrators. Rank, brand, mentions. 1. AVI-SPL, 18. 2. Diversified, 18. 3. CCS Presentation Systems, 11. Notable movers. Solutions increased by 3 mentions to reach 4, a 300% gain in AV integration visibility. Co-op Condo Property Management. Douglas Elliman Property Management leads Co-op Condo Property Management with 14 mentions, ahead of First Service Residential at 12 and Brown Harris Stevens Residential Management at 7, reflecting clear separation among the top 3 firms. Rank, brand, mentions. 1. Douglas Elliman Property Management, 14. 2. First Service Residential, 12. 3. Brown Harris Stevens Residential Management, 7. Notable movers. Rose Associates increased by 4 mentions to 6, a 200% rise in co-op and condo management visibility. Criminal Defense Law. Williams & Connolly LLP leads Criminal Defense Law with 14 mentions, ahead of Latham & Watkins LLP at 9 and Skadden Arps Slate Maker and Flom LLP at 8, signaling strong visibility for major national firms. Rank, brand, mentions. 1. Williams & Connolly LLP, 14. 2. Latham & Watkins LLP, 9. 3. Skadden Arps Slate Maker and Flom LLP, 8. Notable movers. Here are 2 takeaways. First, Williams & Connolly LLP added 1 mention to reach 14, consolidating its lead in criminal defense rankings. Second, Sullivan & Cromwell LLP reached 4 mentions from 0 last week, newly entering the top tier of criminal defense responses. Customer success platforms. Totango and PlanHat share the lead in customer success platforms with 16 mentions each, closely followed by Churn 0 at 15, forming a tightly packed cluster of top vendors and AI-generated recommendations. Rank, brand, mentions. 1. Totango, 16. 2. PlanHat, 16. 3. Churn 0, 15. Notable movers. Custify jumped by 4 mentions to 7, a 133.3% increase, strengthening its position among customer success platforms. Digital signage, healthcare. Vizix, 4 Winds Interactive, and AppSpace are now tied for the lead in digital signage healthcare, each with 6 mentions, indicating a balanced competitive set among healthcare focus providers. Rank, brand, mentions. 1. Vizix, 6. 2. 4 Winds Interactive, 6. 3. AppSpace, 6. Notable movers. Here are 5 takeaways. First, Vizix grew by 2 mentions to 6, a 50% increase that keeps it tied for the lead in healthcare digital signage. Second, 4 Winds Interactive added 3 mentions to reach 6, doubling its visibility week over week. Third, AppSpace gained 4 mentions to 6, a 200% increase, joining the leaders in healthcare digital signage. Fourth, 22 Miles appeared with 3 mentions with no prior visibility, indicating a new entrant in healthcare-focused signage responses. Fifth, Qualmac increased by 2 mentions to reach 3, a 200% rise in queue management-related signage visibility. Family Law. Cordell & Cordell leads Family Law with 7 mentions, followed by McKinley Irvin at 5 and Stange Law Firm PC at 4, with multiple firms showing week-over-week gains from a relatively low baseline. Rank, brand, mentions. 1. Cordell & Cordell, 7. 2. McKinley Irvin, 5. 3. Stange Law Firm PC, 4. Notable movers. Here are 3 takeaways. First, Stange Law Firm PC appeared with 4 mentions after a prior absence, marking a step change in family law visibility. Second, Tucker PLLP recorded 2 mentions after no prior presence, indicating emerging recognition in family law responses. Third, McKinley Irvin gained 2 mentions to reach 5, a 67.7% increase in family law visibility. Identity security platforms. Ping Identity, 14. SailPoint and CyberArk share 2nd place at 12 mentions each, reflecting a dominant trio in AI-sided identity security solutions. Rank, brand, mentions. 1. Ping Identity, 14. 2. SailPoint, 12. 3. CyberArk, 12. Notable movers. Here are 3 takeaways. First, Ping Identity lost 2 mentions week over week, down 12.5% to 14 in identity security coverage. Second, CyberArk dropped 3 mentions to 12, a 20% decline in identity security visibility. Third, IBM Security Verify gained 3 mentions to 7, 7, a 75% visibility increase among identity platforms. Immigration law. Fragament Del Rey Burns & Lowy LLP remains the clear leader in immigration law with 15 mentions, ahead of Seyfarth Shaw LLP at 13 and Greenberg Tragic Law LLP at 11, with several other firms gaining visibility in the broader set of AI responses. Rank, brand, mentions. 1. Fragament Del Rey Burns & Lowy LLP slipped by 1 mention to 15, a 6.3% decline, though it remains the clear immigration leader. 2. Clasco Immigration Law Partners LLP added 3 mentions to reach 11, a 37.5% jump in immigration law visibility. 3. Jackson Lewis PC grew by 3 mentions to 9, a 50% increase, strengthening its position in immigration-related answers. 4. Foster LLP increased by 3 mentions to 5, a 150% visibility gain in immigration results. 5. Ogletree Deacons Nash Smoke and Stewart PC gained 2 mentions to reach 5, a 67.7% increase. 6. Murthy Law Firm grew by 2 mentions to 5, a 67.7% rise in immigration-related queries. Motorized Shade Systems, Hunter Douglas, 12. Crestern gained 4 mentions to reach 7, a 133% visibility increase. Lutron lost 4 mentions to 8, a 33.3% decline in motorized shade visibility. Moving Services, Atlas Van Lines, 14. Atlas Van Lines gained 2 mentions to reach 14, and Beacons Van Lines increased by 3 mentions to 5, a 150% rise that moves it into the top cluster. Personal Injury Law, Morgan, 13. Beasley Ellen appeared with 4 mentions after no previous ranking, while Higgins Berman, Sobel Shapiro, and Jacoby and Myers each increased by 2 mentions to reach 3. Smart Home Installation, ADT, 8. Vivint Smart Home and Crestern Electronics each added 3 mentions, while Control 4, Crestern, and Lutron all saw week-over-week declines. Methodology. This index is based on grounded AI responses generated across multiple models, including GPT and Gemini.